Hi, third grade. Today we're going to talk about a book called Marvin Redpost, Is He a Girl? By Louis Satcher. I'm going to start off by reading a little portion out of the book, and this is how the book starts off. It goes, Casey Happleton said, "If you kiss yourself on the elbow, you'll turn into a girl." Marvin Redpost looked at her. They sat next to each other in Mrs. North's class. Casey had a ponytail stuck to the side of her head instead of the back. "It's true," said Casey. "If a boy kisses himself on the elbow, he'll turn into a girl. And if a girl kisses her elbow, she'll turn into a boy." "Can you change back?" asked Marvin. "Sure," said Casey. "You just have to kiss yourself on the elbow again." And the book starts off that way, and they're sitting in Miss North's class, and Casey's kind of saying these weird comments about if you kiss your elbow, you'll turn into a girl. And Marvin, shortly after Miss North tells them to redirect their attention to the class, he's sitting at his desk wondering, oh, if I kiss my elbow, am I going to turn into a girl? So he starts wrapping his arms around and stretching to see if he can get himself to kiss the elbow, because it has to be on the outside of your elbow. And so he kind of just doesn't want anybody to see, but he kind of wants to try just to see if she's just being weird or if she's actually telling the truth. So actually later that day when they go home, Marvin gets home and after dinner and everything, he goes to bed, and he's laying in his bed and he's just laying there thinking, wow, is Casey right? If you kiss your elbow, am I going to turn into a girl? And so he tries and he tries and he tries and he stretches and he stretches and he stretches and he can't get it. And then he gets all tangled up in his sheets and he falls down and his elbow just stretches and he kisses his elbow. And so then for the rest of the night, he's laying there worrying, am I going to turn into a girl? What's going to happen? And he's not able to fall asleep until a few minutes later when he's actually able to fall asleep for a little bit. He has a dream that he's out on the playground playing the sports game with the kids, and he looks down and he's wearing a dress. So he wakes up from this dream and he runs to the bathroom to see if he can look in the mirror and see if he's a girl, and then his sister walks in. So he asks his little sister, "Do I look like a girl?" And she goes, "Yeah, you kind of do look like a girl." And he goes, "Well, what do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, you kind of look like one." And eventually the conversation goes where she just tells him what he wants to hear, and that he actually looks like a boy. So he wakes up the next morning, and his mom and his sister tell him that he sounds a little funny. And so he really starts worrying about, oh, my voice is changing. Am I going to be a girl? Is it starting to change? And so he just leaves for school pretty quickly after breakfast and meets his friends outside of the house, his best friend being Stuart. And he doesn't really want to say anything to them about him kissing himself on the elbow because he doesn't want the guys to think that he's going to turn into a girl. So they're walking to school, and he's just kind of avoiding talking to them, and they say that he sounds kind of funny, and he's just trying to keep it to himself. So he gets to class, and Mrs. North is actually taking them on a field trip that day to the park, and they're supposed to find themselves a partner for their buddy system on the bus, and Marvin just kind of hides because he doesn't want to be with any of his guy friends or with Casey because Casey will make fun of him for kissing his elbow. So he actually picks one of the characters out of the book. Her name is Patsy, and she is kind of the outcast in the class. She doesn't really have any friends. At recess, she kind of plays by herself. And so he picks her because she doesn't really know much about him, and so he figures, how's she going to know that I'm turning into a girl? So they're sitting on the bus, and they're going to the park, and they're having this conversation about, Marvin asks her why she doesn't play wall ball with the rest of the kids, and she tells him that she doesn't know how, and so he tells her that he's going to teach her how to play wall ball, and only if she teaches him how to play jacks. So they get to the park, and Marvin is just kind of avoiding everybody, so he doesn't have to tell them that he is turning into a girl. So he actually climbs up on this huge jungle gym, and he's going to try to kiss his elbow with nobody around, just so he can turn back into a boy. This entire time he is still a boy. He's just freaked out that he's going to be turning into a girl if he doesn't kiss his elbow again soon. So he's trying, and he's stretching, and eventually he falls off this jungle gym and tumbles down, and his arm stretches so far again that he's able to kiss his elbow again. So he stands up, and Casey comes over. She's like, "I saw you kiss your elbow. I saw you. I saw it." And Marvin gets all red, and he gets embarrassed, and so he gets to the point where he is relieved that he isn't going to turn into a girl because he kissed his elbow again, so he gets to stay a boy. And then the book ends when they get back to school, and Marvin goes and asks Patsy to play wall ball regardless of what his friends say. And so I think the moral of this book just goes to show you that no matter if you're a boy or a girl, you can do whatever it is that you want to do, and you can be whatever it is you want to be. And so after this reading this book, I hope you get to learn that, because I certainly know that I can do everything that boys can, even though I'm a girl.